Before we hop into today's video, make sure to check out the link in the description to a BlueStacks download link. BlueStacks is an Android emulator that allows you to play mobile games on your PC like Grand Cross and Arknights. The link down below has 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross pre-installed, so if you want to play this on your PC, make sure to click the link down below. Alright, let's hop into today's video. What's going on, guys? Amazing White here, back with another video. Today we're going to be going over some tips and tricks on how to get high ranks in both geared and ungeared PvP. So let's get into it. Alright, so the main thing that's going to be dependent on how far you can get in PvP is going to be your team. Both in ungeared and geared PvP, your team is going to be the most essential part of you ranking up in those modes. So the main team I'm using is the penetration team, using green Escanor, blue Lilia, blue Doom Meliodas, and red King in the back. Lots of people don't really have the exact team build of this team, just because some people skipped red King, and it's understandable just because red King's banner was really bad. But if you don't have red King on this team, there are many substitute units you can use. So the units I used to use before I had red King would be red Grimoire, so him right here. So if you go over to red Grimoire, his passive, it actually increases the HP related stats of your allies in PvP by 15%, which makes it so you have a ton of lifesteal in PvP. And so this makes it so your team's able to be sustainable and last a while in the fight. Really good alternative if you don't have red King, right? Another good option is using red Arthur. He basically does the same effect as Grimoire, but he doesn't give it to Demon Meliodas. So he gives HP related stats to human characters, right? So he gives HP related stats to humans by 15%. This is not just in PvP, but it's also in PvE, but you mainly want to be using this guy in PvP if you are using it for his passive, right? And then another really good option in the back is going to be Hauser, and the reason is because you can get a ton of CC on Hauser, and his passive actually increases human basic stats by 8%, so that's going to buff your Lilia and your Escanor's basic stats, right? So that's going over a Pierce comp. You can also sub in red Escanor if you don't have green Escanor for this slot right here for the pen team, and it works out really good also. But this is the general team you're going to be using for PvP if you want to run pen. Another really good option would be the mono red team. So if we go over to my characters real quick, I can show you guys that I have the full mono red team available. It's just because I've invested cosmetics more into characters like Lilia and Demon Meliodas, that is the reason why I focused that team over mono red. So as you guys can see, I do have red Escanor, and I do have the Arthur and Gother, and I also have red King in the back just for the penetration blocking. But the main reason I use this team in Ungeared is because this team has more cosmetics, right? And I get more CC out of this team. So if we go over to my Lilia, I'll show you guys my cosmetics. The main thing you want to focus on for Ungeared, guys, is going to be your cosmetics. The cosmetics are going to make the most difference in Ungeared PvP, just because they're the only way you can scale stats other than having ultimate levels or having maxed out units, right? So level 86 stars. So this is the only way you're going to be increasing your CC and your stats overall. So that's the main team I use for ungeared PvP. You can use variants of this. As I said, you can swap out red King for some other units if you don't have them, and you can swap out Escanor for like red Escanor. Also, you can put Hauser here too, and you can run double Pierce with the Hauser and Blue Doom Meliodas. But you know, there's your options, right? You got a lot of stuff you can do. This team with a ton of variations is definitely possible to make champ 1. Like, you don't need red King for this team to get to champ 1. It just might take a little bit of, like, you know, struggle getting there, just because the people using red King are gonna have like a really good advantage against you. So that's mainly going over tips and tricks for the ungeared mode. So let's get into the geared mode now. So if we go to geared PvP, I've been grinding this past week into like challenger for geared. So as you guys can see, I have a 79.53% win rate, and my rank right now is 3,836 in champ 2. So I've been pushing in geared PvP mainly because I wanted to get to challenger, and once you get to challenger, you actually stay in that rank forever. Because you get 3,000 coins in challenger, it makes it so that you're getting a ton of PvP coins every week, and because you don't derank out of challenger, you literally get 3,000 PvP coins every week, and that's like a ton of anvils that can get you UR weapons, stuff like that. So that's main incentive for pushing in geared PvP. And so the team I use is actually the exact same team as my ungeared team, and the reason is because running Pierce, it makes it so that I'm able to counter most teams that I fight, especially because I do have red King. The main reason I'm running this team over the mono red is because I have more attack, defense, and Pierce sets for this team than I do for my mono red team, because with the mono red team, you want to make sure you have a ton of HP defense sets, except for your Escanor, so you have a ton of CC, right? The main point of that team is to go first and get lucky with your card draws, right? But with this team, it's not really as RNG dependent. Most of the time I can win against a mono red team, even if I go second. Like if they misplay, I still have a really good chance of beating them in the fight, right? Like blue team Meliodas still does a ton of damage with Pierce Food, and so like I'm doing like at least 100k damage, like even if they have red king in the back, right? So with the gear sets, it's with geared PvP, it's all based on your gear, right? Cosmetics aren't as big of a deal, but your gear is going to be the most important thing. So having UR gear for the characters that have UR gear is going to be essential. So as you guys can see, I do have the top 2 attack pieces UR'd for Escanor, just because I wanted to get as much attack as I can on Escanor, right? I will be doing the UR for the HP belt and the rune. I will be doing that for sure, but the priorities for Escanor would obviously be his attack, right? That's the main reason you're using Escanor, right? You're going for high damage with Escanor. He's your main DPS other than blue team melee, so that's why I made sure to UR the top 2 pieces for that. For my Lilia, as you guys know, I did do like a full UR set for Lilia. It's different with her because she doesn't have a ton of CC, and to make it so she has a ton of CC, I had to UR each piece, right? And she actually has more CC than my Escanor if we actually take the look at it. So 42,000 CC on my Lilia, more CC than Escanor, who has the highest CC in the game at the moment, right? So 41,000. So as you guys can see, like UR gear is a really like important thing to make for your characters if you want to be getting in high ranks in geared PvP. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, is food is going to be very important for when you're pushing in geared and ungeared. And so the main food I like to use specifically with this team is going to be the Pierce food. And the reason for using Pierce food is because like it doesn't give me a ton of CC. As you guys can see, like I'm only 181 with the Pierce food, but it does give me enough Pierce so that I'm able to 3-shot most mono red teams even if they had red king in the back. Basically helps me when fighting most mono red teams, as those are the only teams I really struggle against. Other Pierce teams I might have a struggle against, but if I have red king in that fight, it's basically a guaranteed win for me at that point, right? Especially if I go first. So that's why having Pierce food is going to make it so my demon melee is more lethal. And most people actually target green Escanor anyway, so if you have your blue demon Meliodas with high Pierce, he's going to be able to basically nuke the entire enemy. So if I were to put attack food here, you could actually see the CC like difference. Like I get an increase of about like 3,000 CC, which could be the defining factor of you going first or second. So attack food's a pretty good option too. Another good option would be CC food if you really want to be going first. And with this team, I'm able to get to 199k, but usually with this team, I'm actually safe going second in most cases, just because the Pierce food that I have makes it so I'm able to do a ton of damage on the second turn. That's mainly going over tips and tricks on how to push ranks in ungeared and geared PvP. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.